Hey there, and welcome to the Event Crushed podcast. Each week, we'll be chatting about all things wedding industry, entrepreneurship, and how to crush it in life and business. I'm so glad you're here. Now, let's dive into this week's episode. Hey friends, welcome back to the Event Crushed podcast. This is your host, Becky Hart, and I am coming to you tonight. It's actually about 8:30 right now, and I have had quite a day. We were at Crater Lake all day today for a proposal for the sweetest couple, so we got to set that up and be a part of it, and it was so much fun, and it was just a very long day of driving and hauling a whole bunch of stuff up a mountain, more or less. And it was really great, but I am a little bit tired, to be honest. And I have been battling a cold. So I've had to cancel a couple of interviews just because I've been coughing so much. And I'm pretty much over the cold, but I just have this lingering cough and it's really annoying. So I apologize. I will probably have to edit this episode a decent amount just to cut out my coughing that happens in between. So hopefully it won't be noticeable to you all. I'm not sure if my voice sounds a little bit funny, but if it does, I apologize. Today I am here to talk with you about Instagram in 2024 and just kind of my thoughts on it, because there is a lot of just feelings out there about Instagram right now. And unfortunately, a lot of it is very negative. And I hear from other wedding pros all the time in various situations about how the algorithm hates them, or, it's just not worth it to put in all this time to Instagram, and just how things have changed so much. And I totally get it. And I empathize and I understand. I've been in those places too with Instagram and my business. And I'm seeing so much chatter. I'm seeing it on threads. I'm seeing it in real life conversations. I'm seeing it in my mastermind. I'm seeing it just all over. And I know that it's a pain point for a lot of people. And it's true. As we know, Instagram is always evolving and the algorithm is ever changing. And I know that many people feel burnt out on the platform and they're ready to just throw in the towel altogether. But should we? What if there was a way to still enjoy Instagram and not let it suck the life out of your soul? So I want to start with a disclaimer. I am not an Instagram expert, but I am a user of Instagram for my business for the last 9 years. I was able to go in and see, because I honestly couldn't remember when I joined Instagram with my business account, but it was way back in May of 2015. So that's when I signed up with Instagram for my Event Crush account, and I've been using it regularly this entire time. Not that I've been posting every day or every week even. I'm sure that in the last 9 years, I went a few weeks at a time without posting. But as a whole, over the last 9 years, I have been generally regular, whether that's once a week, whether that's 3 times a week. I've never been somebody to post every day. I will say that right now. But over the last 9 years, I have experienced great success with my Instagram account, which to me means getting quality leads and inquiries from Instagram. It also means building and keeping connections with fellow wedding professionals and past clients. And I've also really struggled to get my content seen or to feel like I'm making a difference on this platform. So I have a small account. I have less than 5,000 followers. I have just 4,900 something, somewhere in there. So I don't have a huge following. I'm not coming to you as a influencer who has hundreds of thousands of followers. I'm coming to you as a small wedding business owner who has been using this app for many, many years. And I just kind of want to share my personal thoughts at the moment and what I have been experiencing with the app. And as always, you can take it or leave it. You can take the parts you like and leave the rest. If there's anything tangible for you here, I hope there is. And I hope you'll consider some of the things that I'm saying and maybe seeing how you could implement some changes in your own business. But I'm always open to conversation, and I would love to hear any thoughts that you might have on this topic. So please, if anything, any thoughts pop in your head, definitely shoot me a DM on Instagram at Event Crush, and we can keep the conversation going over there. Okay, so what's changed for me over the years are my goals for the platform and why I continue to post regularly after all this time. I'm honestly at a place where I couldn't care less how many likes a post gets. I will say I hide my like count for my own sake, just because I don't really want to know. Sometimes it's a good number and sometimes it's not a great number. And I would just rather not know and not have to deal with however that makes me feel. So I just hide my like count. And I recommend that for you too. If you are someone who gets stressed out about the number of likes that a post gets, just go in there and hide that like count, and it will, I promise, it will help your anxiety. I have some posts that perform very well, and I have others that are hardly seen. Okay, we all do. I'm sure we all can think of posts that, like, one day you do this post and it gets a ton of likes and engagement, and you're like on top of the world. You're like, yeah, momentum. And then you go to post the next time and it's like, womp womp. It just completely falls flat. And you're like, what the heck? So we all experience that. I think that is relatively normal for Instagram. Not all of your posts are going to do great. And so just honestly being able to accept that, I think, is a really helpful ability. So I wanted to share my 3 main reasons for why I continue to post regularly to Instagram at this point after 9 years. Like, why am I still doing it? Well, the number one reason is because it keeps me top of mind with others. So, for example, when you regularly post to your stories, it is showing that story bubble to your followers. And this keeps you top of mind for fellow wedding professionals, past couples. Maybe your past client has a friend or a sister or a cousin who just got engaged. And if they are seeing your content come across their feed or their stories, they're going to be reminded, oh yeah, Jamie did those amazing floral arrangements for my wedding. I need to see if she's available for my friend's wedding. Or, oh my gosh, Mandy made those great cookies for my engagement party. And now that my sister's engaged, I need to see if Mandy can do cookies for her party. So honestly, it just keeps you top of mind in so many ways. And with fellow wedding pros, there's times when I kind of just forget about certain people because I'm not working with them regularly and they're not showing up on social media or various aspects. And it's really kind of easy just for them to like fall off my radar. And being around on Instagram regularly, it just keeps you on people's radars. And it says, hey, I'm active. Hey, I'm working. Hey, I'm out here kicking butt. And I think it's just good for people to know and to see that you are, you're doing the thing. You're working, you're making it happen. And just that piece of keeping you top of mind, I think, is something people overlook. Like, we kind of use Instagram. Oh, we're showcasing our work, of course. Or, oh, we're, hoping that we're getting clients and inquiries from Instagram, of course. But the simple act of posting regularly so that we're kept at the top of people's minds to then be referred and recommended is a big piece of it that I think a lot of people kind of just forget about. So that's the first reason that I am still posting regularly. The second one is building connections with fellow wedding pros and others in the community. So if you've listened to some of my other episodes, you will know how important connection and community is to me. And Instagram is such an easy way to stay in touch with our fellow wedding pro friends, to share their work, to encourage them, and to be a resource for them. So there's so many ways we can do this. But honestly, being active on the app to me is just another way that I can continue to build up those relationships and continue to just let people know, like, hey, I'm here in your corner. We all say it, but the little act of leaving a comment on somebody's post, it's such a small thing. It's so easy to do, but it goes a long way. And I think we don't take advantage of that enough. We're not supporting others enough by these simple acts. And it's so easy, and it's something that just takes seconds, you know? If you see a post come across your feed from someone who you admire, from a friend in the industry, just leave a comment and say, hey, like, you're killing it. This is awesome. This is beautiful, whatever. It's such a small act, but it will mean the world to that person. And they'll return the favor too. If you're engaging with someone else's content, they are way more likely to engage with yours as well. So that's it. It's just community building and engaging. And like I said, encouraging, being a resource. Be the person that others can come to for questions. I get DMs all the time about, hey, I'm planning a bridal shower and I need location ideas. I get messages from vendors just about, oh, can you recommend a DJ for me for this wedding that I'm doing? Offering yourself as a resource is just one way that we can, nurture that community. But using Instagram to do it's easy. It's free. I think if we want to go down that direction, like we all act like Instagram owes us something. But the truth is, it doesn't owe us anything. It is a free app that so many of us are using to build our businesses. And so many of us have booked clients and gotten business from this free app. And it just blows my mind. Almost like, I guess, the entitlement that people have, this expectation that this app owes me this or whatever. And it's like, it's a free app that we have been given, and it's up to us how we want to use it. Instagram doesn't owe us anything. And I think it's important for us to recognize that and just to reframe how we look at this app. So the last reason of why I'm still posting regularly, honestly, and I don't know if this is going to come off annoying, but it's fun for me. I enjoy sharing my work. I enjoy sharing the behind the scenes. I enjoy connecting with others on Instagram. I'm not posting out of obligation. I do it because I genuinely enjoy it. And I know a lot of people are in a position right now of not enjoying Instagram. And I get it. And I have been in that place. There have certainly been times where I felt frustrated and like, why am I putting in this time to do this post and crafting this thoughtful caption and doing all of this? And then like 10 people see it, it's frustrating. And I understand that. But if you can reframe how you look at Instagram, how you feel about Instagram, and if you can find the fun in it and start to get back to maybe how it felt when you first started using Instagram in your business, I think there's a lot of opportunity there. I think if others can see that you're enjoying the app, they will want to engage with you. Like if they're like, this person is having fun on here, they're going to be more prone to engage with you. If they're like, this person is clearly just here because they feel like they're supposed to be here and they're posting out of obligation, like, yeah, your engagement isn't going to be super high. Again, I am not an Instagram expert. I am not sitting here telling you exactly what you need to do or how you need to manage your Instagram account. But a lot of it, honestly, I think is a mindset thing. So reframing how we look at the app, how we are using the app, I think is a great place to start. But I guess I will share, I don't know if strategy is the right word. And honestly, there are so many educators and people out there who are claiming to know the secret to increasing engagement and the secret to getting more followers and these hacks and this and that. Honestly, I think 99% of it is bowl. One person that I do highly recommend that you check out is Shannon McKinstry, and she has a fabulous podcast called Good Content, where she shares so many great nuggets about creating quality content that your audience will love. And she shares, it's specific to Instagram, and they're super short episodes. They're like 10, 15 minutes, and they're just really high quality. And she is, to me, like the Instagram content expert. So I would definitely check out her podcast, Good Content, and just give her a follow on Instagram. She's always sharing great stuff. She's one of like very few people that I trust as an authority on Instagram. So definitely check out her stuff. Getting into my quote unquote strategy. Again, I don't think that's the best word for this, but number one, let go of the pressure. You do not need to post a certain number of times per week, no matter how many times you hear others say that. The formula is to post 3 reels and 4 feed posts and 10 story posts. There's so many things going around like that. And I just don't fall for it. There is not a magic number that will all of a sudden get you followers and engagement. But with that said, some level of consistency is important to Instagram's algorithm. So that's where we see problems, is when people are posting very sporadically, once this week, and then they don't post for 2 weeks, and then they post 2 times the next week, and then they don't post for a week, and then one time, it's just very sporadic. Some level of consistency is important. If that's 2 times a week, like if that's what you can do, I think that's great. For me, right now during busy season, I am posting maybe 2 to 3 times a week on my feed, but I do post to my stories just about every single day. And that is something that I would like to take a moment to chat about, is stories. Did you know that stories can increase your engagement and views? People think, oh, stories, only my followers see them, and so they're really not that important. But this couldn't be farther from the truth. Stories are so easy. They don't require being polished. They can be done in a matter of seconds or minutes. It's so easy to share just snippets of your life and behind the scenes of running your wedding business. And trust me, people want to see it. People love seeing the behind the scenes of a wedding business, because people who aren't in the industry are so intrigued by what we do and what goes on behind the scenes, and what, our everyday life looks like as a wedding planner or a wedding photographer or a wedding baker. Just trust me, people love this type of content. So beyond just, sharing your life, here's a way for other people to find you via stories. And you probably know this, but are you taking advantage of it is the question. So for example, you coordinated a wedding and you took a ton of behind the scenes photos and videos during the day. And later, maybe it's the next day. That's personally what I usually do, because I am not able to post everything real time on a wedding day. So the next morning, I will just set aside, it is time consuming. I'll set aside like an hour, and I will go through and I'll post all of those, the ones I like. I'll post all of those videos and photos to my stories, and I will tag every single vendor that was at that wedding. And then what happens is all of those vendors, most of them, not all of them, probably are going to share it, but most of them are going to reshare. And they're going to push my story out to all of their followers. And now their followers are seeing their story, which links to me. When they click on it, it goes to my profile. And so I'm getting more followers because they're finding me through that other vendor. And they're going, oh, who's this girl? And they're seeing my page and they're deciding if they like it and if they're going to follow me. And a lot of times they do. And a lot of times they don't. So that is one way that you can use stories, by tagging other vendors and wedding professionals, and then they'll share it. And then in return, you are getting more followers and engagement. Another thing that a lot of us aren't taking advantage of is using location stickers in our stories. So if you are working at a certain wedding venue, or if you are doing an event, somewhere cool, anytime you're doing, something at a space that you would love to have associated with your business, use that location sticker. And then people can find you that way. Because if people are searching, even like your city. So for example, if I put Eugene, Oregon into my stories, if I'm doing a wedding in Eugene and I put that in as a sticker on my story, and then somebody goes on Instagram and they search Eugene, Oregon, there will be feed posts and there will be stories that come up there. And they can click on the story and it will show them like all the recent stories that people are doing in Eugene. And they might click to my story and then they're like, what's this girl about? What is this Event Crush thing? And they might just give you a follow. So that's another way we can utilize stories to get found. There are ways to get found via stories. And I just think a lot of people don't know that. They think, oh, only my followers see those. But if you're tagging people, if you're using locations, other people can find you as well, which I just think is super cool. And we're just not taking advantage of that enough. And posting consistently on your stories, just like posting consistently on your feed, will push your content out to more people and will increase your reach. There are weeks, I'm sure there's been weeks where I posted nothing on my feed, but I posted to my stories every single day and my account still grew. So I just think we need to use stories to our advantage, and we're not doing that as much as we could be. So my next point here, I'm talking about my quote unquote strategy, if you will, is focusing on quality over quantity for feed posts. Again, you don't need to be posting to your feed every day. You need to be posting quality content that is reaching your ideal client, that is doing something for them. So if all you're doing is posting a pretty photo with a quote, that's not quality content. I mean, maybe the photo is beautiful, but there is so much more that we can be offering. For me, my highest performing posts are typically these graphic posts that I create on Canva, and I share a practical wedding tip. And I do this, I was going to say once a week, but honestly, it's every 5 posts. So that's a way that you could kind of come up with a content plan for your feed. This is the only thing that I have really planned like that. It's just every 5 posts is this reminder post that I do, and it just has a wedding planning tip in it. And it gets a lot of engagement because it's shared by other wedding professionals. And then it gets saved by couples. And then I get comments on it about people who agree or disagree or what have you. So those are usually my top performing posts. So I talked about this in a previous episode about setting ourselves apart in a saturated market. And one of the main things that I harped on in that episode was how we can be the resource, be the one educating our couples and clients, sharing helpful information. Pretty pictures are great, but we're just so far beyond that now. And I think that's where some people get hung up is they're like, well, I have all these great photos to share and I just don't know what to say. Well, instead of a quote, replace that with a wedding planning tip. Like if you've been in the wedding industry for a little while, I'm sure you can come up with so many pieces of advice and tips for couples out there who are planning their weddings. And so just write them down, take a Google sheet and just start writing down all the tips that you can think of. And then when you're ready to post that beautiful photo, if you can relate the tip to the photo, that's the best. Like if it's a dress photo, you can say, don't forget to bring a really nice, hanger for your wedding dress photos because, you don't want your gorgeous dress to be displayed on this cheap plastic hanger. You need to get you can get a customized hanger. You could just get like a beautiful velvet hanger, but you can write a whole post about hangers. And that's a tip that a lot of people don't think about. So many couples show up to their wedding day without that piece. And if you're a planner, you can talk about how you have that hanger in your kit. And so your couples will never have to deal with the gross plastic hanger in their photos because if they forget it, you have that beautiful velvet hanger in your emergency kit that you will provide for them. So there's so many ways you can spin that, but we we all can think of things that we've learned on a wedding day in the wedding planning process. This isn't just for planners. This is for anybody in the wedding industry can share advice and tips and be a resource for those couples out there planning their weddings. So again, that's one example, is the whole, wedding planning tips and advice. There's a lot of different directions you can go with that. But I think we just need to move away from the, song lyrics or the quotes as the captions, because I really don't think that's doing anything for anybody, if I'm being completely honest. And I don't mean this to be harsh. Like, if you're posting quotes or song lyrics in your captions, like, please do not think that I am personally calling you out or anything. This is just my own advice to help you have better engagement and better reach with your content. And I think we have to be willing to adapt. Again, this is something I've talked about in another episode about longevity in the wedding industry. I think that was episode number 3, I want to say. I believe it was number 3. And so I talked about being adaptable and not being stuck in your ways. So maybe you've always done the quote, but okay, it's not working for you. So we need to be open to change. We need to be open to trying something different. So here is my suggestion for you to try something different and see if it works. Hey, if it doesn't work, you can go back to posting the quotes, but it's worth trying something new. And I will say, it's totally I am fine every now and then with a post that has a nice song lyric. But if it's every single post, that's where we're really missing the mark. Again, every now and then, I'm not worried about it. But if that's your main strategy, then I think that's where we need to reconsider a bit. And I just want to say, I don't have the data to back this up. So I'm not sure if I can say this as an absolute fact. But I believe an account that posts like 5 times a week with useless content is not going to do as well as an account that posts 2 to 3 times a week with really high quality content. So again, just to hammer home, it's more about quality than quantity. You should not feel obligated that you need to post every single day. Okay, so to sum it all up, ready? Number 1, don't sleep on stories. Number 2, focus on quality over quantity when it comes to content. And number 3, take the pressure off. Okay, those are my 3 main takeaways for this episode. I promise that the algorithm is not out to get you. It just genuinely rewards quality content. And if you're not seeing the growth or engagement that you're wanting to see on Instagram, it's time to consider tweaking some things and to try some new things. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this topic. Honestly, shoot me a DM on Instagram, email me at becky@eventcrush.com. Let me know if you agree, if you disagree, if you have other ideas. I would love to hear. This is a super quick Spitfire episode. I could probably go into a lot more detail about all of this, but for now, I feel like this is a good starting place. And I'm just ultimately here to encourage you to have an open mind regarding Instagram. I've been in that place of just being really frustrated and wanting to just like throw in the towel with it. But I am here now in a place where I just genuinely enjoy it. I have fun. I love sharing the behind the scenes. I love sharing my work. I love supporting others in the industry and collaborating in that way. And so I hope and pray that you can get to that place too, if you're not there right now. And if you are there, amazing. And I love it. And I'm so happy to hear that. But if you're not, I believe that you can get there and that you will get there. So, all right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Event Crushed podcast. If you are enjoying the show, I would love it if you would subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. If you would consider leaving a review, that would mean the world to me. That helps others find the show and be able to tune in and listen. Thank you again for being here. I hope you have a wonderful week, and we will catch you back here next week.